This video explores the surprising and colorful past behind the dyes that color our world. Let's start with welcome back to the channel. The colors that shape our lives. Color surrounds us, on walls, in wardrobes, across screens, in nature. But while we intuitively feel the emotional power of colors, red's intensity, blue's calm, green's freshness, we rarely stop to consider where these hues come from, or the extraordinary journey they've taken through time. Behind every color lies a story of ancient civilizations, alchemy and science, colonial ambition, and industrial revolution. This is the hidden history of the colors that define our everyday world. The power of pigments. In the ancient world, color was more than decoration. It was a spiritual force, a symbol of status and meaning. Nowhere is this clearer than in ancient Egypt, where color was sacred. Among the most coveted pigments was a deep glowing blue, created by grinding lapis lazuli, a semi-precious stone found only in distant Afghanistan. The labor, cost, and rarity of this stone meant that its brilliant blue pigment was reserved for the most divine purposes, used in tombs, royal regalia, and depictions of the gods. This blue wasn't just admired, it was revered, symbolizing the sky, the Nile, and the divine. Even today, we see echoes of this reverence in the phrase blue chip, meaning rare and valuable. It refers to the top-quality works of art, those deemed culturally significant and priceless. Fast forward to the European Renaissance, and we find ultramarine blue still prized, but now influencing art. The pigment was so expensive that artists had to itemize its use in contracts with patrons. Imagine negotiating for the exact amount of blue to be used in depicting the Virgin Mary's robes, ensuring just the right amount of divinity and wealth. The Virgin Mary's robes, painted in radiant ultramarine, weren't just a religious symbol. They were a declaration of wealth and devotion. But it wasn't until the 19th century that color became democratized. A young chemist, William Henry Perkin, while attempting to synthesize quinine to treat malaria, stumbled upon a vibrant purple dye, mauveine. This accidental discovery was the first synthetic dye, launching the modern chemical dye industry. Suddenly, vivid colors once reserved for elites became affordable and ubiquitous, changing fashion, art, and even identity. From the 1860s on, mauveine transformed the fashion world. Working women in factories were among the first to don these bright, cheap colors, making style a part of their identity. The power of red. Red has long symbolized life, power, and danger. Its story begins tens of thousands of years ago, when early humans painted caves with red ochre, an iron-rich earth pigment. These cave markings weren't just artistic. They were spiritual, ritualistic, and perhaps communicative, a primal expression of what it meant to be human. The prehistoric use of red ochre suggests a desire to express, to communicate, and perhaps even to evoke emotions in viewers. It signifies a profound connection between humanity, color, and emotion that continues to resonate today. As we move to more sophisticated societies, the source of red becomes more refined. In the ancient Mediterranean, the crimson hue came from the crushed bodies of kermes insects. Harvested painstakingly and traded at high value, this beetle-based dye was so precious that garments dyed with it were restricted to royalty and high-ranking clergy. During the Middle Ages, red remained a sought-after color, often symbolizing courage, blood, and sacrifice. It was during the 12th century that a new type of red pigment arrived in Europe via Arabic traders. It was called kermes granum, or the seed of kermes. Extracted from the crushed bodies of the same insects that gave us crimson, this pigment offered a richer, deeper red. It was expensive, but its vibrancy made it a favorite of the church. In fact, the red vestments worn by cardinals are still dyed with kermes. With the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire in the 16th century, Europeans discovered cochineal, a cactus-dwelling insect from the Americas that produced an even brighter and more durable red. It became one of the most valuable exports from the New World, rivaling silver and gold. Spain guarded its cochineal monopoly fiercely, as red fabrics flooded European markets, signifying power and opulence. The French, determined to break this monopoly, launched a mission to smuggle cochineal plants out of Spain. They succeeded, establishing plantations in French colonies. This would lead to the Red Revolution in the 18th century. Now produced in French colonies in South America and the Caribbean, the cochineal insect continued to dominate the red pigment market. But it was in the 19th century that alizarin crimson, synthesized from coal tar, transformed red once more. No longer confined to insects or the wealthy, this synthetic red was stable, affordable, and mass-produced, revolutionizing the textile industry and solidifying red's presence in modern life. Exploring the depths of blue. Blue is often seen as a tranquil color, yet its journey through time has been complex. Unlike many colors, true blue pigments were rare in the ancient world. While shades of lapis lazuli were prized, blue was often represented by other colors or materials, reflecting its scarcity. The absence of blue in many ancient artworks may not be a lack of understanding or preference, but a reflection of its value and accessibility. Enter Egyptian blue, one of the world's oldest synthetic pigments. Created around 2500 BCE, it was initially used in jewelry and small objects. Its formula, a mixture of quartz sand, copper, and an alkali flux, allowed for large-scale production. Egyptian blue spread from Egypt to Mesopotamia and Greece, used in temples, tombs, and ceramics. But for artists, true blue remained elusive. In the Middle Ages, blue remained rare. It was expensive and often imported from Asia, making it a luxury reserved for the elite. Artists had to make do with other colors. For example, cobalt blue did exist, but its high price limited its use. Instead, medieval painters often used azurite, a cheaper but less vibrant alternative. It was only in the 14th century that cobalt blue began to be produced in Europe, initially in Germany, and later in England. But it wasn't until the discovery of porcelain in China that a true blue revolution occurred. European fascination with Chinese porcelain sparked a quest to replicate its iconic blue and white designs. Through trade and diplomacy, knowledge of cobalt mining and pigment production eventually reached Europe. Factories were established, and by the 17th century, Delftware in the Netherlands was famous for its blue and white ceramics. The Industrial Revolution brought mass production, but also a shift in perception. Synthetic ultramarine blue entered the market, challenging traditional views on color purity. Was it truly blue? By the 20th century, advances in science allowed for even more blues, each with its unique properties and applications. The evolving shade of green. Green, a color we associate with nature and growth, had a more toxic and more troublesome past. Ancient artists struggled to produce stable green pigments. Often they combined blue and yellow substances, but the results faded quickly or turned black with time. The first successful green pigment was verdigris, created by suspending copper plates over vinegar, allowing a green patina to form. It was vivid but volatile, changing with light and air. In the 18th century, Prussian blue, a pigment accidentally discovered, opened new doors for green shades by mixing with yellow hues. But the most beautiful and deadly green of the 19th century was emerald green, also known as Paris green. Rich and luminous, it found its way into wallpapers, toys, and fashionable gowns. Unfortunately, it contained arsenic. Exposure led to sickness, and in some cases, death. The pigment's toxicity was so severe that some believe it may have contributed to Napoleon's death, as his wallpaper in exile contained arsenic-based green. Eventually, safer synthetic greens emerged, but the shadow of poisonous pigments lingers as a reminder that beauty has often come at a cost. Color in today's world. Today, color is everywhere, and it's digital. Our screens use combinations of red, green, and blue pixels to simulate every imaginable hue. Designers meticulously craft color palettes for websites, logos, and branding campaigns. The right shade can boost a product's appeal, signal trust, or inspire emotion. Color psychology plays a role in marketing and design. Red is associated with excitement and urgency. It's used in clearance sales and fast food branding. Blue conveys calm and trust, favored by tech companies and financial institutions. Yellow grabs attention, great for signs, ads, and call-to-action buttons. And the future of color? Scientists are exploring structural color, using nanoscale structures to bend light and produce color without any pigment at all. This is how butterfly wings shimmer or peacock feathers glow. These innovations may lead to colors that never fade and to fabrics that change hue with movement or mood. The hidden legacy of color. Behind every hue is a story, a fusion of geology, trade, war, science, and art. From sacred tombs to Renaissance masterpieces, from deadly wallpapers to digital screens, colors have shaped our cultures and expressed our deepest values. So next time you scroll past a blue icon, slip on a red shirt, or repaint your living room, remember, that color isn't just a choice. It's a legacy. A silent witness to human curiosity, creativity, and ambition. The hidden history of everyday colors is not just about the past. It's about the vibrant world we live in today. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Stay in Rigid!